Welcome to Audacity Works, a podcast inspired by and dedicated to the working artist, the creative entrepreneur, and generally, doing the damn thing. This exists on the premise that the world belongs to those who have the audacity to believe that their lives have value. This is for you. Welcome to Audacity Works. I am your host, Rachel Strickland, and this is episode number 111. So that means I have to say, it's my 111th birthday. If you don't know where that's from, are we even friends? This is a bit of an unusual episode because I'm going to be making some recommendations for ideas for gifts for the weirdos in your life, all based on things that I know that I like. So that's what we're talking about today. There were a lot of ways that I could have gone with today's episode, but this is the thing that's on my brain because, 'tis the season to give gifts, and I hate doing it. Okay, that's not true. I don't hate giving gifts. I'm just not very good at it. I've never been great at it. I tend to just get things for people when I see them and think of them, but I'm not good at remembering birthdays at all. Sorry in advance for anyone who feels that personally and it's like, oh, Rachel doesn't care about me because she doesn't remember my birthday. I'm not going to remember. It doesn't mean I don't love you. It's just not part of how I show love. But I do find it difficult to get gifts for people, and I really don't participate in it. My immediate family, we do Secret Santa with a $100 gift limit, so that's brilliant because then I only have to buy one present, and usually they, tell me what they want, so I know that they're gonna like it. But sometimes you just need an idea, so I'm gonna give you some personal recommendations of mine that have made my life better, that are for companies that I find are ethical. And none of these recommendations are affiliate links, not because I have anything against affiliate links. I love affiliate programs, but I just didn't take the time to do that. So I'm just giving you things that I think are awesome and have made my life better in case you need an idea for the weirdo in your life. Tiny update first. This past weekend, I was in Charlotte at Bloom Movement Artistry to participate in their show Shadows, which was the first time I have put the opening chunk of my one-woman show, The Monstrous Feminine, in front of a live audience in a show setting. I have shown it at the Charleston Artist Salon, but I haven't shown it to an audience yet, so got to do that. Was very happy with the comments that I heard afterwards. 3 people told me they had never actually been afraid in a theater before. So that's very promising. And one fantastic artist gave me an immense compliment. She said, "You're the ultimate embodiment of feminine rage." I'm like, can you say that again, but slower? Because wow. So I'm going to call that a win. Many thanks to Katie and Sarah for having me, for giving me a stage, and to my co-performers for bringing such vulnerable work to the stage, and to my patrons who purchased virtual tickets. That was amazing to know. And of course to Manflesh, who is indeed my secret weapon. The whole thing happened, our accommodations for that day and night fell through, and we'd been traveling for days. We had a gig out of town in Greenville, and then coming into Charlotte, and our accommodations fell through at the very last second. So I put out the bat signal to my community, and within an hour, I not only had a place to stay. What's up, Kim? Thank you for giving us such a soft landing, as well as somewhere to stop and rest for 5 hours before the show. Thank you, Shannon, for opening your home to us, even though you weren't even going to be there most of the time. It's just, yeah, sure, come in, use my guest room, take a nap, get focused, put on your stage makeup. And It was just real life evidence, the power of community and the power of asking. Because, like, could we have rented a hotel? Sure. It's just like taking a $200 hit or whatever, but, we didn't want to do that. Like, let's find another way. So we just asked our community, and the community was like, hell yeah. So thank you. So this is your weekly reminder to ask for what you need. To ask for what you need. And speaking of things that you may or may not need, here are my seasonal recommendations for gifts that I know are good, that have made my life better, in case you need ideas. Gift number 1 is a hair clip. That's right, it's a hair clip for the person in your life who has so much hair. If you know what I look like at all, my hair comes down to about mid-thigh when it's down and straight. It's not very thick, but there is still so much of it that it requires a tremendous amount of strength in any clip that's thinking about holding it up against the force of gravity all day. And I have just the one. I actually get a lot of comments on it. People tell me that it looks very Athena-y. I don't hardly ever see it because it's in the back of my head, but I bought it when I was on a little trip with my mom in Savannah in 2020. So that was 4 years ago, and it's survived almost daily use for 4 years. It is really high quality. As such, it was expensive. It's like $50 for a hair clip, and I normally wouldn't spend that kind of money on like an accessory, but I was on a trip with my mom, and I'm like, this will be my memento. It was kind of gold, which is very on brand for me. So I bought it, and it has been worth every fucking penny, because otherwise I would have gone through 18 cheap plastic crappy things. So yeah, can attest. Has been worth it. Works if you have a lot of hair. Holds it all day long. It's by a company called Ficarre. I don't know anything about the company. I just know that the hair clip works really well. So I'm going to put a link to that in the show notes. It's not an affiliate link. It's just a link to a really strong hair clip that also happens to look great. Recommendation number 2. I have developed an affinity for luxury loungewear. And me of 10 years ago would be like, are you fucking kidding me? But me of today is like, no, I'm not, because I now live in these clothes. I'm talking about Lunya. If you know someone who works from home, so is home most of the day, and doesn't want to wear like trousers or jeans. Are we still wearing jeans? I'm not, because none of mine fit me. But I am absolutely living in these wide-legged pants from Lunya. I have 3 pairs of them now, and I wear them every single day. They're made of Pima cotton. They're worth every freaking penny. And if I were out walking around and I tripped and I fell over just a random $1,000, I'd give half of it away, and then I'd use the other $500 to buy these in every color they offer, which is not many colors, to be fair. But I am always wanting more of them. I have never enjoyed being gently squeezed by clothing, and after a lifetime spent in lycra and athletic wear due to my career of choice, and now, I still have to wear that stuff, when I work out or when I perform, but the rest of the time, I'm going to be breezy. I have big legs and a big ass, and I hate being squeezed, so I'm going to live inside of a cloud now. If you'd like to join me, there will be a link in the show notes. There was a time last year when I realized that I needed new clothes, and I'm like, where are we getting clothes? I hate shopping so much. Like, what do I do? And I got some amazing recommendations from Instagram, and Jessica John turned me on to Lunya, and so I think about her every time the 3 times I have ordered something from them. I'm like, thanks, Jessica. You're the real MVP. Also, my friend Dante recommended this company called Lilysilk, because that I've discovered a huge affinity that I have for natural fibers. And yeah, I've got a couple pieces from Lilysilk. I'm going to put a link to one particular sweater. It's a turtleneck sweater, and it is made of silk and cashmere blend. And it is expensive, and it is worth every fucking penny. It's amazing. I always kind of scoffed at clothing that I thought was high priced. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, paw. I'll just buy the same damn thing on the Walmart shelf, half price. But the thing is, the cheap version that I was buying was basically made of plastic, and it just makes me smell. I smell really strong when I wear polyester. It's like awful. And my uncle is the same way. He shared it with me. He's like, oh yeah, wait, me and you, we can't wear polyester. We have to wear natural fibers or we're going to stink. And I'm like, oh, good to know. At 42, I've really been stinking this whole time, not knowing that it was just what my clothes were made of. Okay, moving on to more beautiful things. For the person in your life who likes ink and pens and stationery, I'm going to recommend Goulet Pen Company. They're family owned. They have an extensive library of YouTube videos, like really nerding out on fountain pens and how to clean them and how to take them apart and which ones are best for which whatever. I don't love watching YouTube videos, but I like knowing that it's there for me if I need help. They have all kinds of pens, ranging from like $10 fountain pens to, I don't know, if you want to spend $1,000 on a fountain pen, that exists. I wouldn't recommend it. There's one, this was my starter pen. It's called the Iris Vacuum. And if you know someone who likes doing morning pages, and as you know, I recommend a sexy notebook and a sexy pen, something that gives you pleasure to write with and isn't just like, I'm a ballpoint pen. So something more beautiful, more sensual, and frankly just more fun to use, then I can recommend this company. They're good people. They always respond to my questions. And Miles Wilder turned me on to them, so thank you, Miles. I'll put a link in the show notes to the Iris Vacuum pen, just because it's a stand-up pen, and I've now been using it for like 3 years, as well as one of my favorite inks. It's called Oxblood, and it really is like writing with blood. It's not like red. It's like kind of rusty. It just looks like blood. Thinking of you, Scary. Thinking of you. You would like this ink. It's also hella affordable. And speaking of morning pages, if you don't want to just go to Barnes & Noble and pick out something pretty with the gilt gold edges, I have an artisan to recommend to you. They're called MoonBabe, and I know because my good friend Kat Boston bought me a notebook from them this past year. I started doing morning pages in it in June on my birthday. And I am still using it, and it's December. It is absolutely gorgeous. It was custom made, so they take custom orders. Kat knows me super well, so this is basically like my dream notebook. But I've been like chatting with MoonBabe on Instagram, and they're super awesome and warm and lovely. So it was a really special gift to receive, and I love opening it every single morning. So I'm going to put a link to that in the show notes too, with my compliments. Okay, moving on. More gift ideas for the weirdo in your life. These are the ones that have brought me lots of joy, which are sort of kits that allow you to learn how to do a new thing and keep doing it. For example, a couple years ago, I asked for like a candle making kit, and I love it. Last year at Creatrix, I was able to make a candle for every attendee, and I am now making them for my patrons of a certain tier and higher. I just love the process. Other things that have worked well for me include like a cross stitch kit, which sounds extremely archaic, but I love it, and it's like beautiful and so therapeutic. My sister loves origami, so she is always asking for like kits of just beautiful pads of paper, like all the origami paper, and she will just sit there and make shrimp and whales and baubles, and she can just make anything now out of paper, and it brings her so much joy. And me, because then I get to put like paper shrimp on my tree, and I'm into that. Just things that teach you how to do something, and then you can continue to do it, something you can do with your hands and use a different part of your creativity. Very, very good medicine for the artist in your life. I don't have specific links to any of these, but I would recommend looking on Etsy so that you can support an actual individual human. How about that? Speaking of humans, there is a company here in Charleston, Black family owned, called Motherland Essentials, and they make the dopest soap and like scented body oils, full purpose. You can use it in your hair, on your face, on your body, and I love them. So as a shout out to my local people, I'm going to put Motherland Essentials, a link in the show notes. Moving on, anyone who has... Are you experiencing anxiety lately? Because, yeah, that's become a thing. And the thing that's irritating about being a sentient houseplant is that the answer to some things is absurdly simple. And we can at least stop making things worse by watching caffeine intake. Anyway, if you are interested in making a move from coffee to matcha, which has a much slower burn, it still has caffeine in it, but it doesn't increase my anxiety. And I am a diehard fan. But I am picky about my matcha because most matcha is pretty disgusting and it's like not even bright green. It's like, ew. But this actually is an affiliate link. That's how much I like this company's matcha. It's from Breakaway Matcha. They're family owned. They always like write me a little note with every order. It's really cute. But I really like their stuff and they have sales a lot. And I'm just really happy with them. So if you have a matcha fan or you're thinking about making the switch, I'll put that there, as well as, okay, this is some boozy bitch shit, all right. But I have a milk frother that I learned about from Anastasia Sauvage. And Anastasia has a very high standard for all things that she puts into her body. So she's the one that taught me how to make matcha. And she uses this like boozy bitch. She called it the Lamborghini of milk frothers. So I call mine the Cadillac because Lamborghini was taken. And I actually got like a much cheaper one for Christmas last year. And I had to take it back because it sucked. It only made like 8 ounces. Like, I need at least 16 ounces. Like, come on, what are we even doing here? So I have not found any that even hold a candle to this one. Tried and true. I've been using it for a year now. And I even take it with me when I travel somewhere for a long time because it's just like good. It's so good. Unfortunately, it is not made by like an individual artisan, which is what I would prefer to recommend to you. It's by Breville, and I don't even know where you get it, but I'll find a link for it and I'll put it in the show notes. And of course, if you're hard up for a gift for the witchy weirdo in your life, you can always buy them Creatrix. I am just putting the finishing touches on the description and the updated website now. I'll put that in the show notes if you've been waiting to read about it. The applications are not open yet. They'll be open to my patrons starting next week, and then a week after that, it will be open to the wait list. All of the things are in the show notes. I'm looking at the time. This was an unusual episode because it's just full of like, here's some things that you can buy. But honestly, I really appreciate it when people who I know and I like them and I trust their tastes, and like Maestro, I get so many recommendations from Maestro. Oh my God, I have bought so many things because of their recommendations, and they have all held water. So I just wanted to like extend that sort of communal courtesy. Because if you're going to buy something, you want to know if it's good. So these are things that I know are good. They have improved my life. And if it's been useful, yay. And if not, well, I'll talk to you next week anyway. If you have requests for future episodes, you can reach me always on Instagram at Rachel Strickland Creative or on Patreon at Rachel Strickland Creative. This podcast is powered by Patreon, so extra special, warm and fuzzy shout out to my amazing patrons who stand with me and make this podcast and so much more that I do possible. Thank you. Until next time, friends, happy gifting, and don't go back to sleep.